Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige. This is Seeking Alexandria, and look at the sun out the window. You guys, I'm living, breathing, dying, obsessed for the fact that there is a little bit of sun peeking through. It is so bright and blue and beautiful outside today. I cannot function. And also, if you haven't just got a little sneak peek glimpse, look at these shades. This is the palette we're diving into, and having the blue skies, the sun, the warmth on my face. Guys, having warmth that comes from the sun and not from like the ramen you're cooking on the stove or from burning yourself with the curling iron. Like, oh no, a warmth that comes from the heavens above. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is. Like, Northern Michigan is such a dreary, gloomy place after like, roughly 72 months of crap. It's just so nice and enjoyable to look up, see blue skies, see sun, and just enjoy life. So anyways, let me dive in to today's palette. This is the Spectral palette from Hallberg, and oh my word. Now this is so true, first of all, to her aesthetic. If you've never followed her or seen her work on Instagram, I highly recommend checking her out. So beautiful, very fun, like different kind of aesthetic. I feel like her creations and her vision behind what she does is so unique and so beautiful. It's like if I were to put everything that I'm afraid to do into one person, that would be her aesthetic. She's just so intense but edgy but soft when she wants to be. She can create a beautiful easy look or an intense look. Like, there's just nothing this woman cannot do. Her creative vision is so beautiful, and like the packaging, everything about it is just so interesting. Like, for some reason I look at her stuff and I'm always intrigued. I guess that would be the word. Like, if I had to pin it, intrigued is perfect, because when you look at it, it's never what it seems. Like, you will constantly look at something of hers, and I feel like just this graphic, again, a great example of, you'll see it and it just makes you want to keep looking and find that other color. And why does this color look so beautiful? Oh my god, it's because she complemented it with this color. Like, everything about her stuff is so beautiful to me. So I'm very excited to be playing with this palette today. Now, I have never tried anything else from her brand before. I know that she does have other palettes and things like that, but this is my very first experience. So I'm super excited to get to share that with you guys and just dive right in. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop talking and rambling on, because y'all know I do it a lot. So let's go ahead, lift this beast up. You do, of course, get a full pan size mirror, and then these are the shades. So beautiful. At first when I saw this, I'm like, where's the cohesion? What are you going to do with this? But then after you go through and swatch them and really see how they look next to each other, I feel like this right here paints the color story a lot better than this right here does. $59 for the palette plus $10 for shipping for me because I'm in the US. And at first I was like, girl, $59 for 8 shades? Absolutely not. But then I sat down and I thought about it for a second, and I have two thoughts. The first one, y'all, if you've been here for a minute, you know exactly where I'm going first. Anytime price gets involved, anytime eyeshadow is involved, period, where am I going? Back of the palette, how much product do I get in this bad boy? Because I want to know. And each one of these pans has 0.09 ounces a piece. Guys, these pans are beautiful as far as the amount of product you get. Like, wow. My standard, if you're new to my channel, is 0.05 ounces per pan. I feel like that is the amount that should be in every pan as a minimum, and these have 0.09. So you are getting almost double what I would consider a good size eyeshadow is. So that right there, I'm not mad at. I think the price is, once you take into consideration how much you get, the price is looking a little bit more acceptable to me. Is it still expensive to shell out $59 for 8 shades? Absolutely. But just to put it in perspective, you are getting almost double the amount of product that you would get from any other 8 curated shades, which is fantastic. Okay, so that takes care of point number 1. Do you want to know what point number 2 is? And I don't know if I'm the only one that has struggled with this personally, but I feel like when you are looking for a pastel shade, it is ridiculously difficult to find one that is any good. I don't care who you are. I feel like Lorac put one out like, what, 2 years ago? It was one of their brunch palettes. It was absolute trash. I hated it. I returned it as quick as humanly possible. And it has been the same with every single pastel shade I have ever tried. I don't care if it's high-end, drugstore, whatever the case is. I feel like brands a lot of times translate pastel to mean light, and it doesn't. It means light in color, not light in pigmentation. And these have a beautiful amount of pigmentation to them. They are so soft and velvety and smooth, but they do not compromise on the level of soft pastel shade that you're getting. And again, I haven't put them on the eyes yet, so I can't say like, oh, they're going to be super true to that, you know, whatever. I can't speak to that because I haven't applied them yet. But as far as the overall design and aesthetic of these shades, I feel like it's very nice and unique to have a palette curated like this that will actually pull on the more pastel side. Now, I will be working with these on an unset lid because that's how I've been working with my shades lately, but I have a feeling these are also the kind of shade, if you wanted to dull them down, make make them a little bit lighter, a little bit more pastel, you could probably set your lid and that would take away a little bit of the intensity, and you could work with them as well that way. Now, I do want to dive into what it says about this palette on her website. So I'm at shop.lindahallberg.se because again, I believe it is in Sweden here, and it says the Spectral eyeshadow palette will paint your world in colors, no matter if you like subtle nuances or electric shades. The palette contains 8 highly pigmented and smooth eyeshadows in a unique combination of bright, playful, and inspiring colors that will bring your creativity to life. Let the pastel inspiration flow through your veins and express them with the endless amount of possibilities that this palette provides. And this palette is also vegan, cruelty-free, perfume-free, and dermatologically tested. And then they also go through and spec out the different types of shades these are. So from top to bottom, Dim, which is that light pink shade at the top, that is a shimmer. The next one is Faint, which is also a shimmer. Next one, Eerie, which is a matte shade, this purple right here, which is such a beautiful undertone. From there, we go down to Abstract and Illusion, which are this one and this one. These are both considered glitter shades. Personally, I think this gold one is more of like a straight glitter when you swipe your finger into the pan. First of all, wow, the payoff is amazing. But second of all, you can actually feel the glittery kind of grit to it. Whereas with the other shade, the shade Abstract, you can't really feel it so much. It's a lot smoother like a shimmer, but it has a light amount of glitter reflect to it like a glitter. So it's kind of a hybrid, in my opinion, between a glitter and a shimmer formula with them, but just something to note. And then after that, we have 3 matte shades here, here, and here, which is Occult, Phantom, and Unknown. Again, all beautiful, super, super creamy. The only one I had a little bit of an issue with in swatch was this deep purple, which isn't uncommon, so I'm not mad at that. So real quick, before I dive into the eye look, I do also want to take a second to kind of go through their shimmer formula because it does feel a little bit different from what you might be used to. So we were just talking about this guy right here, which is the shade Abstract, which is right here in the palette. This is the other glitter shade, but it's not just a glitter shade. It's more of like a glitter duochrome, and it goes between blue and purple, which you can kind of see lightly right there. Super beautiful. Again, I was just explaining that it's kind of a hybrid between the glitter formula right here and the shimmer formula, which I swatched for some reason on this finger. But the thing I wanted to mention are these 2 shades right here. These are the shimmers. Now, these are very, very smooth feeling. They almost feel smooth to the point of, are they matte? Like they are that level of like velvety pull. When you slide your finger across, it feels like you're sliding it across like butter with like a hint of speckle in there. Like you can kind of feel it, but it is not chunky. It is so, so smooth, and just like the glide of these is beautiful. Like those are one swipes, super beautiful. They're not metallic, but they do give you a beautiful shimmer effect. So if you're looking for the more metallicized, the more intense, the more impactful, you're going to want to go the glitter aspect or maybe the duochrome. But the duochrome seems very, very light, but you can see a slight difference in the amount of reflect you get from the 2 glitter shades, even though one of them is a glitter and one of them is more duochrome glitter, versus the shimmers. The shimmers are a lot more subtle and light in pigmentation, which I'm not mad at because I feel like these are going to be a totally different aesthetic, a totally different eye. So just something I wanted to point out. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the eye look. And I'm sorry for so much talking, but y'all know how I am. I can't help myself. Guys, I just realized I don't have a brow gel in, and I can't function anymore for some reason without a brow gel. One second. Do I have one like right here handy? Because I honestly can't concentrate. We're gonna grab the ABH Dip Brow Gel in dark brown real quick. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead here, grab my Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the shade Porcelain Beige 8B, and we are going to dab a little bit more of this on the lids just because I did do a little bit earlier, but as you can tell, I talk a lot, so it's been a minute, and I just want to make sure we have a good, fresh, primed base for these shadows because, girl, they deserve it. Okay, so we're going to start off by taking the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro number 17 brush here. It's a nice small brush. It does have a little bit of blue staining, but I just cleaned it, literally physically cleaned it with a cleaner, so that blue you're seeing is down deep in the bristles and is of no issue for today. But nonetheless, I'm going to start off with the shade Unknown right here, this beautiful pink shade, and I want to take that on this brush and start working it in toward the inner portion of the eye. And I'm only going to work it probably on like the inner third crease area just to get that area nice and light and blended and have us some sort of a transition. I'm not exactly sure what I want for today, but I do know it starts with this pink shade right on the inner crease of my eye. Guys, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that took 0.2 seconds to do. That is so beautiful. Wow. So moving on past the pink, which I cannot get over, we're going to take the shade Eerie right here. Same brush, which I just went ahead and color switched off to get that last little bit of color off. And we're going to take that and put it, butting it up right next to that pink shade and fanning it through the rest of the crease toward the outer V. And we're going to do this just to keep creating this nice veil of color. And I think we're going to deepen up the outer V a little bit, but I want to lay down this beautiful kind of transition between pink to purple and just give us that room to work on the lid space when the time comes. All right, guys, so we are here. I'm going to take the same brush. I didn't have to clean it off this time, and look at the pigmentation on that brush. Girl, we're going to take the shade Occult, which, as you can tell, looks beautiful. So we're going to tap it off a freckle, and we're going to take that, place it on the outer V, and build and buff that shade in just a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much. I don't want to go in and over deepen it, but I do want there to be some definition for the outer V. That was one dunk of that color, and it blended out so nicely. Wow. I don't know if you guys can see it, but up in this region right here, that dark purple is actually giving me a little bit of a hard time buffing out. And I don't know if it's just because the shade is super rich in pigment or whatever. And it's not like a bad issue, but it is something I'm noticing, again, just right up in that area that I didn't have with the other two shades. But I'm going to grab this BH. This is the number 6 brush from the Rose Quartz collection. My favorite collection to date with brushes that they have offered. I will link it down below. But I'm going to grab this brush and I'm going to lightly veil in between the pink and that purple just to kind of help blend that area. There we go. And it blended out pretty quickly. But again, I just wanted to throw it out there because it does seem like the pink and the light purple are blending nicer than the deep purple. And it could, again, just be that purples, dark ones, are really difficult to formulate, so it might be a little bit of an issue there with the formula. It's not bad or anything, just the only inconsistency I've seen so far. I actually really love, though, once everything's blended, like the way this is coming together looks so beautiful. And I'm super torn because part of me wants to take a little tiny bit of that dark purple and pop it on the inside right here, and then it would be like dark purple, pink, light purple, dark purple, like it would be a kind of a completed fan. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should. And I think I'm going to do that actually with the Morphe M506 brush here, so just a tiny bit of the shade Occult, the dark purple, and popping that right on in the inner portion of the eye. And I'm mainly focusing this right down into the crook of the eye, and then kind of circular motion, just blending it into that area, because I don't want to really bring it up too far, and on my small little eyes it'll go very far very quickly. So I'm mainly just placing it and then circular motion, blend and buff right in that area. You can see just a slight amount of structure on the inner portion versus this eye over here, which doesn't have any. It just gives you the tiniest amount of definition, and it looks stunning. Alright guys, so the light is officially starting to shift around the room a little bit, so I had to zoom you guys out. I will do my best to adjust the frame as we go, but it is time to cut the crease, but I actually want to cut it more so in the dead center. So for once, I'm not going to cut it from the inside going out. I'm actually going to cut it from this inner portion right here and create kind of a halo effect. So let's go ahead and do that here. I have the Tarte Shape Tape Porcelain Beige. It's just like I used to set the lid, and then my Sigma F75 concealer brush. And then I like to lightly go in with my finger and blend the edges of that concealer, just so that way I don't have a weird like bump right there. All right, so per usual, because we're about to play with shimmers, I'm gonna grab my NYX Glitter Glue here, take just the tiniest amount on my finger, and I'm going to lightly apply it to that entire area that we just put that concealer down. Not a lot, just a little bit with my finger here. And now with that down, I'm gonna go in very lightly with the shade Abstract, and I want to put that on both sides of that cut crease, but I don't wanna put it down the dead center. So just going to very lightly, you can do this with a brush if you want to. I prefer to use my fingers, and I'm just going to lightly tap and apply that shade. This shade is definitely one that you have to build up a little bit. It's not bad, but the other pastel-y shades in here, like the light pink, the light purple, as you can see, those were super buildable and really rich in color. This one you do have to work with a little bit more to make it as intense, but I think that that's okay. I think that really fits the aesthetic of the palette. Yeah, so next up for the center of the eye, everybody can see where I'm going with this, honey. I want this shade, the shade Illusion, the beautiful glitter shade of our dreams, all down the center, which I'm going to lightly pack there with my finger, but then I'm going to go in with this Morphe M224. It's just a flat packer brush, and I'm going to lightly use that to define and shape out that cut crease halo right in the center of the eye, just to kind of veil it down on both sides and give us a little bit more dimension. All right, guys, I want just a little bit more sharpness in that line. I'm going to take this BH 18 brush, I'm going to spray it, and then I'm going to go in with that shade Illusion again and make it more of like a liner situation up there, just to make it nice and precise. Can somebody please tell me why with a glitter shade, I thought I should wet the brush and then do it? No, Paige, you need to take a little glitter glue and then do it. Oh my gosh, you guys. Some days I need a little more sleep than others. Glitter glue on that brush. Oh, there we go. Much better, nice, crisp, perfect. That is gorgeous. So now I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the shade Occult, that dark purple on that same Morphe M506 brush, and just deepen up the inner and outer V a little bit and blend it in with that Periwinkle shade Abstract, just for a little bit more blendability. All right, and just because I want to accentuate that hot pink right in this region a little bit, I'm going to grab a BH V20 brush, a nice tiny little blending brush. I'm going to dip back into the shade Unknown a little bit here, and just add me a little bit more hot pink through here. So on the lower lash line, I'm just going to mimic what I did pretty much on the upper lash line. I want a little bit of the light pink, then into the light purple, then a little bit of that deep purple smoky on the outer V. Just a little bit. I don't want the lower lash line to be overcrowded because the upper lash line or upper lid right there has so much going on. So just a very nice light veiling of all three shades and it'll be good. All right, so with the lower lash lines done, I'm gonna run ahead off of camera, do this eye, finish up the rest of my face, and then I'll be back on, give you guys some final thoughts, and we're kind of gonna go over the palette, my thoughts, all of that. So hang tight and I will be right back. Okay, you guys, this is the finished look. I quite literally don't think I could love these eyes more, the way they turned out. It is so beautiful and bright, but what I love most, I think, is actually that Periwinkle shade that I put on the outer V. Yes, the shade Abstract right here, the one that was like that duochrome glitter. I feel like it's a very moldable shade. Like based on whatever your eye look is, you can really do a lot with it, because if you go in with a glitter glue, you can really build it up and make it dense and opacity, but you can also go in and kind of use it as like a glitter topper, and it'll give you just a really nice filter in like that duochrome kind of effect. So I think what's happening here is that because it's more periwinkle and I built it up with a glitter glue, I'm getting more of like a nice light purple effect, but then where it meets the silver, it's kind of fading and giving me a little bit of glitter, but not too much. Like it's just the most beautiful shade. And I'm gonna be honest, that was actually the shade out of this palette I thought I was gonna like the least, because when I swatched everything, that one seemed to be the most like conventionally lackluster, and going in with it, it just looks so stunning on the lids. Like I cannot get over the beautiful melded effect that it has with the other shades. I love it. I am diehard obsessed with it. So overall, what do I think of this palette? I would have to say it's more unique than I thought it would be, because at first I was looking at it going, oh, it's 8 shades, it's $60, like it's gonna be, you know, probably not worth it. But what I really love is the invention of these shades and how well they don't just work with each other, but how well they work to create different looks. Like obviously today I went in a little bit more intense and, you know, did a cut crease and kind of played around, but I have to tell you, where did I want to go with this? I was thinking like overall, like maybe this nice light pink all over the lid. I wanted to take some of this glitter, pop it in the center, or maybe some of this shade up here, pop that in the center, and just have like this really nice light, bright, floral kind of feel. That's kind of where I'm gravitated with this. Now, do I feel like this is something you absolutely have to have or your collection won't be complete? I would have to say no, but I also don't think it would hurt as like a compliment palette, because you really can do a lot with it, and the shades in here are stunning. And the way that this shade Illusion went onto my lids, I'm pretty confident in saying this is the best pressed glitter I have ever used. Now, I did have a little bit of fallout from this. Is that something I'm mad about? No, because it is a glitter. So if you're gonna work with it, you can either, you know, put a little bit extra on your under eye, which I didn't do today, or you can just be extra careful, shake your finger or your brush off when you go to apply it. No matter what though, I do think you're gonna get a little bit of fallout. Again, I'm not mad because it is a glitter, but as far as a pressed glitter goes, I love this formula. It is so nice. The way it goes on the lids, it's not like chunky or thick, and it doesn't go on and start to pill up when it's met with glitter glue, and it doesn't have a really intense like medium that it's suspended in. You know how sometimes if you're working with a glitter that's in a palette like this, it'll be suspended in something that's really thick when you go to apply it, and this one does not have that. It feels like a straight up normal standard shimmer, but like you can feel that it's a little bit thicker than a normal shimmer, if that makes sense. Like you can feel that it's a glitter, but it doesn't feel as intense and chunky as a lot of other glitters do, which I really, really like. So overall, I really do enjoy this palette. I think it's so nice to play around with. If I had to say like my least unique shades, I think would probably be the pink and the deep purple. I think they work beautiful together. I loved the way they worked, but overall, this shade right here, it's a pretty standard pink, other than the fact that it did build up really nicely or sheer out. But for the most part, again, like the undertone, the shade itself is pretty standard, I think, for a nice light pale pink. And the shade Occult did have a little bit of a hard time blending for me. It was a little bit more difficult to manipulate than the rest, but overall, as a cohesive set, I really do enjoy this palette. And for the amount of product you're getting, if it's something that you look at it and you're like, wow, I would get a ton of use out of that, I would say you are putting out a little bit more money, but at least you're getting back a product that has a lot of quality to it and also has a beautiful color story, a beautiful presentation to it. Like the component itself isn't super, you know, amazing. It's not like some metal thing. It's not some crazy over the top moment, but the actual graphic that went into this, I do think is beautiful, very representative of the person that created it, and you are getting a very nice comparable amount of shadow for your money. Now, real quick, just if you want to know the other items on my face, I obviously will not tell you the foundation. You'll have to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and stay tuned because that'll go up later this week. But the rest of the products I am wearing, I have the Urban Decay Double Down in Neutral Nano. Bronzer, I am wearing the Fenty bronzer in Inda Sun, which I recently used in a full face of new makeup. I will link up here. For blush, I went into my Jouer blush book here, and I am wearing the shade Adore Me right up here. A really nice light blush. I didn't want anything too crazy. For a highlight on the cheeks here, I went in with ABH Amrezy and a little bit of the Ofra Glazed Donut just on top of it, just to give me a little bit of a pop right up through here. For lips, I went in with this lipstick from Colored Raine Cosmetics. This is in the shade May She Rain. And then in the dead center of that, I went in with this Makeup Geek gloss here. This is in the shade Dreamsickle. It's their Honey Lip Glaze. But anyways, you guys, that is everything on my face, all my thoughts on this palette. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you haven't done so yet, please don't forget, you can check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. They are both linked down below. Over on Instagram, I check in all the time on Insta stories. I was actually just talking to you guys this past weekend about these nails. It's a gel nail kit that was like an all-in-one. I picked it up from Ulta. So I did a little test demo for you guys over there in my Insta stories. I'm always doing stuff like that, trying to stay in the loop with you guys, talk to you about more products, things like that. So definitely check me out on Instagram for the Insta stories, as well as the bloggy style posts I have been doing. In addition to like normal makeup looks or fun photos or whatever, I have also been really into posting once or twice a week these really fun little blog posts where I can really have fun and like experiment with my writing, which I love to write, for those of you that don't know. I took a ton of English classes in college, and it took me years to admit that I love to write as much as I did. So if you're into like that kind of thing, or you want to see that side of me a little bit more, again, you can check it out over on Instagram. I love it so much, and I love getting to share it with you guys, and overall the response has been pretty cool. So definitely check that out. Again, they're both listed down below. They're hyperlinks. All you have to do is click them and click follow. And if you haven't done so yet, you can also subscribe and turn on your post notifications here in the wonderful world of YouTube, because I upload 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan, girl. It is a fun, early kind of time. You get up, you get ready for work or school, get your kids ready, get your man ready, do whatever it is that you got to do, but you can wake up with some coffee, do it with me bright and early. It is a fun time, guys. I love it so much. I get to wake up, hang out with you, and it is just awesome. I don't care if it's a purple eye look, if it's a foundation review, if it's a shop my stash video. I don't care what it is. I just love getting to wake up, hang out with you guys, put out a video, and know that so many of you are starting your day off with some makeup, some fun, some laughter, just a fun way to lighten and brighten everybody's day. So I really enjoy it. And you guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. We are going to be diving in to the Linda Thalberg, no, not Linda Thalberg, Linda Hallberg. Hallberg? Hallberg. 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 Hallberg? Hallberg. Paige, why can I not remember? What, guys, I think I'm having a stroke. Hello? Do I smell toast? Does anybody else look at this and think butterflies? What? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige. This is Seeking Alexandria, and guys, do you hear the car? Great. And I'm well enough alone. Baby say I'm your man. You're my girl. I'm gonna tell it to the whole wide world. Baby say I'm your man. You're my girl. I'm gonna tell it to the whole wide world. Oh my god, I think this brush is stained and I'm going to sue. Got it. Sucker. Back to life. Back to reality. Oh, back to life. Ah. Back to reality. Oh, but if you're like, girl, what is on your face? What are you wearing? Stay tuned till near the end of the week, because y'all will see. I will spill that tea, but you gotta wait around with me. I hate myself a little bit more each passing day.